And we should all view it as a positive sign that there hasn't been a caning on the Senate floor in more than 150 years. That's good. But at its best, it was what Ted Kennedy loved, a place of community and camaraderie where senators inspired their colleagues to seek out those better angels and work collectively to perfect our union, bit by bit. And in my time in the Senate, I never met a colleague, not even one with whom I most deeply disagreed, who didn't have a deep sincerity in his or her beliefs, an abiding love for this country, and a genuine desire to leave it stronger and better. Still, I know that many of us from both parties shared Ted's sentiment that something vital about the Senate has been lost. Where it once was a more personal and more collegial place, it's become more polarized and more confrontational. And gone sometimes is that deeper understanding of one another, that ideas that there are great battles to be won and great battles to be waged, but not against the person on the other side of the aisle, rather to be waged on behalf of the country. What Ted wanted to save above anything else is that sense of community and collegiality and mutual responsibility to our constituents, to the institution, and to one another. As senators, he wrote, we need to be vigilant that we don't lose track of the whole essence of what the Senate is, of what our involvement in it signifies, of our relationship with people, and of what all of that should lead to, which is the unfettered and vital exchange of ideas. That's why whenever heartbreak struck a colleague, he was always the first to call. That's why whenever a stalemate needed to be broken, he was the first to visit another senator's office. That's why whenever a debate got fierce, he never got personal, because that was the fastest way to ensure nothing got done. Once after he and Strom Thurmond went at each other for a few rounds, as you'd imagine Ted and Strom might do, Ted put his arm around him and said, come on, Strom, let's go upstairs and I'll give you a few judges. The thing is, even though he never technically ran the Senate, it often felt like Teddy did. It was his arena. That's why if you came to the Senate hoping to be a great senator someday, he was who you went to see first. I know that's who I went to see first. Because rather than lord over it, Teddy sought to mentor others to better navigate it. Rather than to go it alone, he sought cooperation. He never hesitated to cede credit. Rather than abandon course when political winds got rough, he always followed his North Star, the cause of a society that is more fair, more decent, and more just. And through all of it, his seriousness of purpose was rivaled only by his humility, his warmth, his good cheer, his sense of humor. That is who Ted Kennedy was. That's what he did, and that's why he's so missed. And that's why the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the United States Senate is such a vital and important idea. It'll be a living institute where students and teachers and the public can come together and learn about the role and importance of the Senate he loves so much. It'll be a place where the most significant moments of progress and peril from our history come alive in recreations and seminars and lectures. It'll be a place for new senators and their staff to get a little training, which we could all use, right, Paul? And all of it will embody Ted Kennedy's undeniable passion for improving our civic responsibility, increasing our public participation, enhancing our national life. Most importantly, this institute will stoke a new passion for the Senate and inspire, we hope, a new generation to pursue the Kennedy legacy of service. For it is now, especially now, that we need to get people interested in our public problems and reignite their faith in our public institutions. Bring Americans together to forge consensus and understand not just the United States Senate's role in our government, but their role in it as well. Today, the Senate is engaged in another important battle on one of the great causes of our time, the cause of Ted Kennedy's life, the battle to make health care not a privilege for some, but a right for all. He has been so sorely missed in this debate. especially now that we're closer than we've ever been to passing real health reform. But even though we took a critical step forward this week, we've got more work to do. And I hope and believe that we will continue to engage each other with a spirit of civility and seriousness that has brought us this far. A spirit that I think Teddy would have liked to see. You know, more than half a century ago, a Senate committee was set up to choose the 5 greatest senators of all time. No, it wasn't an exercise in the Senate's own vanity. It was because there were 5 empty spaces designated for portraits in the Senate reception room. There are no standard tests to apply to a senator, the chairman of that committee wrote. No Dun & Bradstreet rating, no scouting reports. His talents may vary with his time. His contribution may be limited by his politics. To judge his own true greatness, particularly in comparison with his fellow senators long after they are dead, is nearly an impossible task. When John F. Kennedy wrote those words, I doubt that he imagined his 25-year-old brother would one day stand as indisputably one of the finest senators of this or any age. But here's the thing. But here's the thing, Teddy didn't earn that distinction just because he served in the United States Senate for nearly 1 out of every 5 days of its existence. He earned it because each of those days was full and passionate and productive and advanced the life of this nation in a way that few Americans ever have. And he did it all by bridging the partisan divide again and again in an era when that someday may be recalled as one where bipartisanship was too rare an achievement. There will never be another like Ted Kennedy. But there will be other great senators who follow in his footsteps. That's not an insult to his legacy. It is rather the legacy he sought to leave, both with this institute and with his example. Being a senator changes a person, he wrote in his memoirs. Something fundamental and profound happens to you when you arrive there, and it stays with you all the time that you are privileged to serve. I have seen the changes in people who have come into the Senate. It may take a year, or 2 years, or 3 years, but it always happens. It fills you with a heightened sense of purpose. In all our debates, through all our tests, over all the years that are left to come, may we all be blessed with a sense of purpose like Edward M. Kennedy's. Thank you, Vicki. Thanks to all of you. Thanks for making this such a success. God bless you. God bless America.